Just the Radio, episode 35. It's the most well-known guest I've got on my podcast. So, Rouge, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you. It's been a minute. I was supposed to do this a long time ago, but
It's fine.
here now.
I was in Pretoria then. Now it's in Joburg. It's a bit better. So, Rouge isn't your real name, is it?
No, it's not. My real name is Deko Barbara-Jessica Wedi, but people who know me before Rouge call me Barbara or Jessica.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you prefer, Rouge or?
I prefer Rouge because I've never understood why my parents called me Barbara till today. I don't get it.
Okay.
But like during school, Barbara was pretty much what I was known as. So even at home, they call me Barbara. So.
And how did you come about getting Rouge as a name?
So, okay, purely because I was just not a fan of my real name. And then I got to varsity. And also because I really needed like a rap name because I started rapping when I was like 19. And was not the plan. But everyone's like, okay, but you need a rap name, dude, because Barbara's too like...
White.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
It's a white
It's a white person's name. And they were like, you need something rappy and down. And then I thought of Rouge because I speak French. And the color red, because before this, my hair was red, like super red. And I was like, yeah, it really fits, because also the color, represents power, it represents fire, it attracts your attention fast, it represents love. A lot of things that I felt was instilled in myself. And that's why I chose it. And it stuck, like even my lecturers and everybody knew me as Rouge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You, as you say, you can speak French.
Yes.
When did you learn French?
So I've always spoken because my parents are originally from the DRC.
Okay.
And it's one of the most spoken languages in Congo.
Yeah.
So that's why I pretty much spoke it. So I integrated here and there, but obviously I know I'm in South Africa, so I can't like go full out French. So it's more when I'm looking at a more international feel with my songs and my music.
How have you really tried to like do some French in your songs, and how has it kind of been accepted?
Crazy enough, like people really love it, especially this side. Even when they're like they don't understand, it's just it's something different and it's something refreshing. And at the same time, it also really it grabs the people who are not South African, which I think is also super important because it's a very important side of myself because it speaks to my Congolese heritage, which I'm very, very proud of. So it's been taken really well this side and just internationally. Yeah.
So you grew up in South Africa though?
I did. Okay. Born and raised this side.
And you've gone to Congo, visited there?
Not yet. I'm so embarrassed to say. I was actually supposed to go recently, but obviously lockdown and stuff. But once, everything eases up and I can travel, I'm so going. Because my parents go there all the time. Because my dad owns a few hospitals and a few children's hospitals that side. So I really wanted to get involved with that too.
You said you started rapping at 19.
Yes.
How did you get into rapping?
Through a friend. Because I studied at Takis, Tax of Nix. Yes, guys. And
I also studied at Tax.
For real? Yeah. So I was studying a BA Arts. I was studying drama. And when I was studying, I was still also trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Even before I got to tax, I still wasn't sure. I even took a gap year because I just didn't want to waste my parents' money on something that I wasn't going to finish. I wasn't going to complete the degree. And during that whole process, I had a friend who was like, yo, I know you want to do this like musical theater stuff and acting, but you have a voice for rap. Did you know that? And I thought he was just being stupid. And then eventually, after he made me try it, I fell in love with it immediately, Jay-Z. I couldn't see myself doing anything else, and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to actually like try and do this like as a career. So it was real.
How much you said you practiced? How much do you think you practiced?
Okay, if I started at 19, I only started really pushing for the industry at like end of my 20. End of when I hit 20, by the end of it. So I'd say like a good year and a bit. Because I really respect the craft, and it really isn't something that you can just go in and be like, oh, you're great at it. Yeah. It really takes practice like any other thing that you want to do with your life. So yeah.
When did you feel like it was like the breaking point in terms of your career, and that you finally like made it and started making it?
Sure. Because it took a while. I won't lie to you. It really is that saying of like, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. It's a real thing with our industry. So I would say I started trying to get into the industry in my 20s, only when I hit about like 23, 24. So that was probably like 2017 or something like that, when I dropped when I started to become popular was my single Mbongo Zaga, which I dropped with Numuzi. And also before that, actually no, a bit before that was when I did the Baddest remix with AKA. And that was a song that had all like the top female rappers who were coming up in the game. And I was the least known. So already it was a thing of, who is this girl? So I kind of knew how to prove myself because this is AKA. It's the biggest, male rapper. And I knew I didn't want to give him doubt as to why he chose me on it. And once he did, people started catching on to who I was. Then when I dropped my song Mbongo Zaga, it was pretty much gone from there. I didn't have to walk into a radio station. I didn't have to walk into a TV studio. Everything just aligned. It was weird. It kind of felt like, once you have the right song, everything is downhill from there.
Yeah. How have you, because in terms of female rappers, how have you tried to market yourself? Because like if you think about like people like Nicki Minaj, they sell themselves through their body and sex. Yes. How have you, because you don't do that at all.
At all. For me,
I mean, you're sitting in a onesie, not showing cleavage, none of that. So clearly, you let your music speak for itself.
100%. I was literally about to say that. It really comes down to the music for me. Because that's what I noticed when I dropped my song Mbongo. I realized, because it comes down to the fact that people aren't staring at you when they're listening to your music. You know what I mean? It really comes down to if they enjoy the song or not, they'll jam it, regardless of how you look. And, for me, it also came down to the fact that there are people like me and there are girls like me who don't want to show that side of them. And that's also okay. And I felt like I kind of needed to be the face of that, for a market of people who purely just want the music to do a lot. And also just for the next girl who wanted to come out and was like, sure, but I don't want to show myself in that way. It's not who I am. And I'm so glad that people have taken to that. And it really just shows that people aren't one-track minded. And we really need to give ourselves a lot more credit in, expanding what we actually do enjoy. And it's not always the same thing. Yeah.
You actually, I was watching an interview where in 2019 you tweeted that you're the best female rapper.
Damn straight.
And I enjoyed what you said, and your reply to, the question is like, are you and why did you tweet that? And I enjoyed your answer. What was that?
What did I say? Because
it was something like, all the best people have said this.
Yes. And that's, I still stand by it. Like, they all have said it. None of them have been questioned. And I think it just came down to people are not used to hearing a girl come out and say something like that without having a male cosign. And for me, it's also came down to the thing of, listen, I am not trying to be a mediocre rapper. I'm not. I'm really trying to be the best at it. And if I'm not trying to be the best at it, what am I doing in this career? What am I doing in anything that I'm trying to do if I don't consider myself the best at what I'm trying to do? So, and I still stand by it now. And I think anybody should feel the same way of regardless what you are pushing towards. If you're not trying to be at the top of your game with that, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. What have you tried to do to, continue to be at the top of your game? Collaborations?
Yeah. So already from collaboration wise, I always literally try to scale myself with features that I'm probably like, there's no way you're going to get that one. Like recently now, I legit spoke to my Rouge unit fans and I'm like, guys, we're going to get Missy Elliott. I don't know how we're going to do it, but as a team, we're going to make it happen. Even things like the performances I give, if anyone has seen me perform, I'm such a energetic, dancey type of person, and I'm always trying to elevate those type of performances because at the same time people are paying money to come and see your shows, so they also expect an experience rather than someone just there and not really giving them their best. And just also the songs I write, I really want them to be the best songs people hear every single time. It kind of needs to be a challenge for them where it's like, sure, that other song was great, but this one, she's just getting better and better as she gets older and just more wiser with this music thing. Yeah.
What's your process in terms of writing? Like, is it something that kind of happens over a long period of time?
So, okay. And I wouldn't lie. One thing that people always think Rouge freestyles, like just give her a word and then she'll just like, nope, that is not me. I am a writer. And I also take time. Like I can, it really for me, it varies. Like I can take a day with a song and then I can end up taking 3 months with a song. And one thing that I do is I beat on my chest for every single song it's here. And then I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. And then I start rapping. Whatever comes out of my mouth, then I'm like, I like that. That's how it works. So my process is I beat on my chest. And then I just try and rap stuff. And I also have to think about what do I want to talk about for each song. And if I'm like, okay, today I want to talk about friendship. And then I try and write something along those lines. Because I really also don't want to talk about things that people always expect, whether it be love or partying. I want to also kind of go into things of like everyday life, like, you know, losing a friend or, you know, going distant with friendships or going distant with family or me missing my family because of how far this music stuff is taking me. So yeah, just things people can kind of relate to as well.
How have you been keeping busy during lockdown? And obviously, I mean,
sure.
You can't. There's no shows to be able to prepare for.
Sure, I won't lie. It really has been about mental health on 150%. I think for everybody, like, I try to work out. I can't even say this to Jesse. It's so embarrassing, like knowing who he is. I was trying out the working out thing. I'm actually finally doing it after wanting to do it for so long. I kind of feel like this lockdown had to happen in order to finally, you know, get me through the process. I also started to write a lot more music because I found myself also slowing down with the writing because there was always a show, there was always an interview, there was always something that kind of took me away from, you know, writing, and also kind of took away my creativity because everything just became so much about work. So I do feel like I've been writing the best songs that I've ever written before. And content, like I've created a really dope channel called Something Red with my team. Where I have a sit down with my boys. If anybody knows Rouge pretty much only has male friends for some very odd reason. I don't know why, guys. I don't know. Guys gravitate. And I sit and I have conversations with them about guy chats that all girls want to know. And that's called The Perspectives. And that's been going really well. And we also just talk about important things like gender-based violence, or the things that's really hitting our country hard and has been hitting our country hard. So a lot of content, a lot of working out, a lot of conversations with my family, which is dope because I didn't have that luxury when I was working so much. I'm trying to grab onto it as much as I can now before things get hectic. And again, music, writing music, creating, finishing up my album really.
For you, what's your best? How do you feel most creative? Is it like when you're performing? Is it maybe writing the music? Is it just, you know, recording it?
The most creative, sure. I actually feel like it goes. There's different times I feel most creative. So obviously when I'm writing the songs, and including when like producing, like what type of beat I want over it. That is also another process for me. Like I have to go through, you know, YouTube type beats and type of artists that I like and find a way to mesh that type of sound, but still with my own. And then there's also the performance element of things. My performances are never typical whatsoever. There's always some type of theatric, because like I said, I studied theater. So there's always some type of theatric with that. Even when I released my first album, I released a movie for my album. And I'm probably going to do the same thing with this one. I'm probably not a movie, but I'm probably going to do something really unexpected. So yeah.
But I mean, that film that you released won like a best micro budget
film.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, you did your homework. Yeah, yes, it did. Yes, yeah, it did. Which I was so proud about, because like that was the first time in history, of South African history, that, you know, a hip hop artist had ever won a SAFTA. And it just really showed that, yeah, guys, we just need to expand our creativity with this hip hop thing. It doesn't have to just rely on, you know, the music side of things and just leave it there.
You obviously, you know, an agent-client relationship needs to be something that's, you know, is very transparent. Because, I mean, you and Mac literally arrived here in onesies, both of you. So how can you explain, like, how can it benefit someone, an artist, having a manager that you get along with so well?
Well, because I won't lie, for me, because I had gone through that process of having people who didn't really know who I was, and just me going through their, you know, their CVs of seeing how great they did with other people and all these things, and it didn't work. And it also just came down to people not understanding your vision, because I know who I want to be in the industry and I know how I wanted to get there. And I literally, guys, I went through everything, and literally I lost every single deal, and it was purely because I just went through expecting me to have the same journey like an AKA, because, oh no, AKA had this guy, so I also want this guy, or whatever. And when I finally realized, like, no, dude, this is it's a completely different journey. I literally chose Mac because I literally studied with him. He was 1 year ahead of me. We were both at Tux, and he was in the industry, and we were the bestest of friends. And rather let me surround myself with people who actually want to see me succeed, and they know how important this is to me, and it becomes just as important to them. So from Mac to my boys, my dancers, to my sister, it literally is a family business of people where you can't see someone struggle. And when you do that, when you have people like that around you, there's no way you're going to, you know, have a very tough time when people are working every single day to make sure that your dream and their dream is aligned.
Sure. That's good. That's not. That's deep. That's
Thanks,
good. And also,
man.
I think it separates people. It shows that, you know, you're there for, you know, you're there for the long term.
Yep.
You're there for, you know, the bonds and the family orientated, you know, mindset towards
yeah,
it.
and you can be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was also my thing, because I was always so afraid to state my opinion back then, because it's like, oof, but this person knows this much, or I don't want to offend them, or I don't want them to drop me. I can be so honest with my team, like, I don't like this, or I don't want to do this, and I can fight, we can argue, but the vision is always there. And that's what I want. Transparency is so key, like you said. So yeah.
In terms of music videos,
yeah,
is that fun? Is that how, I mean, because everyone watches these music videos like, yo, that just looks like a party, a filmed party.
My music videos are always levels. No, music videos, I love them, because it also just kind of brings the song to life. You know what I mean? It also gives the song just a different lifespan. It gives it another layer of a story that you are like, okay, I actually didn't see it that way. And that's what I always do with all my music videos. It's always like, okay, guys, what can we do now? Okay, let's do like a robotic feel. It's like, sometimes it doesn't even have to do anything with the song, but it's just another story that can be done in a creative way. So yeah, I don't play with my music videos. I don't play with it.
I enjoy it because I watched a few as well. Obviously the ones I've seen before. I watched a few today as well, and I was like, oh, this is actually very
Thanks,
cool.
man. Thank you.
So how did you express yourself creatively, maybe before you started rapping, and like when you were younger, growing up?
Sure. I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and they don't believe me, but I promise you can even ask my folks. So I grew up in Pretoria as well. I grew up in Centurion. And in my area of Centurion, there was like, there was this little like spaza shop place. And it was there since I was born. And every time I would go there, they would let me climb on the counter and like sing for everyone shopping. Like whether they were listening or not. Literally every time. So every time my dad is like, no, I just need to go, I don't know, buy a light bulb. I'm not coming. There's a crowd, like let's rock. So I'd go there, and they would put me on the counters, and I would sing, and I would get like chocolates and sweets as payment. And I think it was kind of like instilled in me from a very young age. I mean, I was like 4 or 5, and it was something that would go on until I was like 9, 10. And so already there, I think it was already like painted like, yeah, we don't know what she's gonna do, but she's definitely gonna be a creative. And then it went on to school as well, so like doing like the public speakings and the house plays and the theaters and the Eisteddfords. So I always involved myself in all the cultural things, and same thing there, I always wanted to be tops, also because like my family is so academic. Like my dad's a doctor, my sister's a doctor, my other sister's a doctor, my other sister's a lawyer, like my other brothers. My brother is in the top PR firm. It's insane. So I also kind of didn't have the luxury to just be mediocre. If for me it was a thing of, okay, if I'm going to go this route, I have to kill it in everything I do, so that they can never ask questions. They can just be like, this girl is the most creative and the best at this creative thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's also growing up, having all these people in your life that are so established in their field. It's crazy, and that's also what's obviously given you the motivation and the drive.
150%. And I also kind of had to prove them wrong, because I won't lie, they were worried, because with the Congolese tradition or the Congolese culture, arts is not really a thing because it's such a war-stricken country. So you kind of don't have the luxury to play on your artistic side. Your mindset is, I need to make sure that my family can eat. I need to make sure that I have money at the end of the month every time. That's always the mindset. So automatically you're already thinking doctor, engineer, lawyer, IT. It's the standard procedure. Like that was also set for me for a while until they realized, oh no, we can't convince her with this thing. And so I really had to prove them. I had to prove them wrong and right at the fact that they let me, my parents let me go this route, and to let them know that I was going to be okay and they didn't have to worry about me for too long.
Yeah, but I'm sure it must be exceptionally proud for them. They must be very proud to, stand backstage or whatever, see you going on stage, seeing you performing.
Yeah, I remember it was so cool. It was just another dope moment when I won the summer award. I wasn't there because I was so certain. I was like, I'm not winning. So, and I was performing the next day. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just stay home because I'm not going to win. Questa dropped a video that's on like 6 million views. No chance. And then, so I told my mom, because I was also sick. I was really sick. So I was like, I told my mom and Mac were with me at the summers. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to stay in because I'm not winning. So let's just not be sad when it doesn't happen. And let's stay in. My mom was like, you are crazy. She's like, fine, you stay. I'm going. Like, she was like, and it was so cool because my mom, it was like a goal of mine to get to a point where I could take my mom with me to an award show. And it was the first time I'd ever been nominated. And she went with Mac. Like, they left me at home and I slept. And then I wake up, my phone's buzzing. Like, it's going insane. And I check and I'm like, what is going on? And then I check on social media and it says that I won the summer. And then I see a video clip on Twitter that's going off and it's my mom accepting my award.
Did she give a speech?
No, She panicked. So she made Mac didn't even have a speech. Mac was just like, thank you. Like, it was so hilarious, but it was such a rewarding and fulfilling moment to see my mom on that stage getting my award for me.
It's actually almost more special that she got to go on for you.
I kind of feel like it had to happen. And you could see on her face, as much as she was so shy to be on that stage, she was so proud to be the one accepting this award in front of all these massive artists and all these massive people, to show that her daughter deserves to be in this room with every single one of you. It was really cool.
Do you have an artist now who maybe when you were like starting out, you like looked up to them, and then now you're like rubbing shoulders at them and you look back, you're like, you see how far I've come? AKA,
guys, I won't lie to you, because he had always been my favorite. Now I play FIFA with him.
I think to have that kind of story to show that that is the value of hard work.
Yes, it is, and it's also cool to see like all these people, even like Nomuzi as well. Like, this was someone I was watching on MTV on a daily, and now she's literally like my best friend, and we speak like all the time. Wigs on, wigs off, doesn't matter. We can see each other at our best and our worst. And it also just shows that they're also human beings. I think that's what I took from it. You know what I mean? We put all these people on a pedestal, but at the same time, they have problems. They have normal life. Like this dude who looks like a superstar and a rock star to everybody. I can literally now just call him when I want advice about something. He can just call me and be like, dude, get onto FIFA. Let's play. Yes. And we can badmouth each other. So I've really made great relationships, in this industry. And it's just also a learning thing that, dude, everyone is human. Like, don't put people so high all the time.
Yeah, and I'm sure people have done that for you, obviously.
Yeah, well. And then they're just like, oh my gosh, you breathe. You eat. And it's like, I do that. Don't be fooled by Instagram. It's not real. Yeah.
That's also something that you've put on Instagram, is you've shown the realism of your life.
Yeah.
And it's not you showing all these expensive things, fancy things, backstage luxuries. You show, and that's what people relate to nicely with you, is the fact that you're showing them that you're an everyday girl.
Thank you.
Who's working hard.
Thank you so much. And I think, I guess I wanted that because at the same time, I don't know, I also feel like if I try to keep up that type of a facade, eventually the truth is going to come out that it's just not my personality, not who I am. And at the same time, I think also it's just kind of like the values that were instilled in me by my family and my friends, that like as much as I'm getting into this industry and no matter how far I get, I kind of still need to remain myself and not lose myself along the way.
I think you definitely obviously have.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So what, in your opinion, is like the highlight of, the last 6 years or whatever of your...
Sure. There's so many. Okay, obviously the awards, I won't lie. They're not the most important thing, but they were really cool to get.
Yeah.
Releasing my first album, because it kind of felt so impossible to finally get to the end of releasing an album. It's such a process. That was also huge for me. And what else? There's too many. I think and that's the thing. Someone also asked me that yesterday, and I was like, it's so hard to say. I feel like my whole journey is a highlight. Because it's every single day is just like, I can't believe I'm doing this, bro. I can't believe I get to wake up every morning and do what I love. It literally, I can wake up and do. And that was funny enough. My management, Mac, was literally saying, he's like, do you know you wake up every morning doing exactly what you want? Like whatever you want to do. And I was like, that's crazy. So I can't just say it's just, whether it's the awards or whether it be releasing a song. This whole process is such a highlight. It's insane. So I'm really enjoying every moment.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you've kind of had to, once you're in, the spotlight and everything, that you've kind of learned that you didn't really expect that you would have to learn, or you maybe like misconceptions about?
For one, people. Like as much as there were people in the industry, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. Those are people I was just like, oh my gosh, you're trash. Like you kind of suck. That is so lame. Because I've had many of those people where it was just, people I looked up to, and it just wasn't what I expected, or they weren't what I expected to be like. As well as just, how hard. I expected it to be hard to get into the industry, but it was so hard. It was so hard. And I think that's what also people need to realize. Like, it really is not a sprint. It is a marathon through and through. You can't cheat your way through it. You actually have to go through the ups and downs. You have to go through the billion no's before you get that one yes. And that was something I had to learn, because I was in the mindset of, oh, I'm talented. It's enough. It's gonna get me wherever. And it's like, that can only get you so far. And then it's like, oh, okay, but I also need to make relationships. Oh no, I also have to think about branding. Oh no, I have to collaborate with brands, but I don't know, how do you even get with brands? There's all these things I was like, I didn't know before, that I could only learn later. Yeah.
With social media, how have you tried to, grow your following? Has it been through collaboration? Has it just been through your own progression in your career?
I think it was both, hey? I really think starting off, it was definitely just me, because I didn't have those collaborations and stuff yet. So really just putting up my music there, putting myself performing here and there, and slowly watching the fan base grow, slowly watching, my favorite people in the industry catching on, this new girl named Rouge in the industry. So I won't lie, like social media played such a massive role in everything, from the features that I was able to, my dream features, to brands that I was able to work with. Like I even remember there was a brand, I can't remember what it was, but there was a brand that I liked, and I was just like, yo, I wish I could work with this brand. And then my supporters just bombarded this brand until I got opportunities from these brands. So it really came down to putting out the work, creating a fan base, also connecting with my supporters on these fan bases. And then the collaborations came, and social media plays a very big role.